A survey in Western Australia was conducted on the popularity of a calculator known as Type A. Out of 1,450 Year 12 students, the survey found that 986 students used the Type A calculator. Determine the following. First thing is a 90% confidence interval to 3 decimal places for the proportion of Western Australian Year 12 students who use the Type A calculator. What assumption was made in calculating this interval? Let's deal with the assumption first. We're assuming, so what assumption was made? We're assuming that the proportions are normally distributed. Once we've done that, we've got P is equal to 986 over 1450, which is 0.68. We want the Z90 value, which we can get from our calculator, 1.6449. And then it's going to be 0.68 take away 1.6449 times the square root of 0.68 times 1 take away 0.68 divided by n, and then over here we'll have the 0.68 plus the same thing. Now I'm not actually going to calculate that by typing that into the calculator. I am just going to grab my class pad and I am going to go to the e-activities, and first thing I'm going to go into here, well, I'm just going to go into confidence interval for proportion. And so what do we have? We had 986 out of 1450, and we wanted 0.9, and that will give us this 0.6598 or 99 and 0.7001. So we wanted to give that to 3 decimal places, so that would be 0. So we want to round that to 3 decimal places. That'd be 660 and 0.700. We then want the margin of error in the confidence interval. So I'm going to use the more accurate value here, 0.7001, take away 0.6599. So that's the width of the interval, but the margin of error is just half of that, which gives us 0.0201. So, another 3 surveys of Year 12 students were conducted on the use of Type A calculators across Australia. So we've got Survey 2, Survey 3 and Survey 4. Determine which of these surveys were more likely to have been taken outside of Western Australia. Justify your answers. Well, what we can do is we can produce another 3 90% confidence intervals just using the activity as we did before. And if we do that, what we'll find is sample 2, the 90% confidence interval was 0.5357, 0.5646. For survey 3, it was 0.6322 and 0.6718. And for number 4, it was 0.6705 and 0.6974. And the one that is very different is this one here. The others are all very close or have an overlap, But this one here is totally different. No overlap with any of the previous ones. So that one's the most likely to be different. Using the sample proportion of the survey at the start of the question, which remember was 0.68, determine a sample size that will halve the margin of error for the proportion of Western Australian Year 12 students who use the Type A calculator with a confidence of 90%. So, there isn't any activity that does this for us. That is this sample n for confidence interval. Notice I've already got the Z90 value in there. I got that by doing Z for CI and putting 0.9 in there, and it automatically transfers it into this one. So let's just put the other things in. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually state the formula there, because we've got 4 marks here. We've got to show some working. So n is z squared p 1 take away p over e squared. And let's write down some values. So Z90 is 1.6449. P is equal to 0.68. And the E would be 0.0201 divided by 2, which is 0.01005. And then we're just going to substitute everything in. So our P over here is 0.68. The E is 0.01005. And then solve. And the value that we got there was 5829. So it was 5828.83. So we'll say that n is 5829. In the answers, it gives 5801, but this type of calculation is quite sensitive to the accuracy of the values you put in here. So they gave a fair bit of leeway with the actual answer.